like to continue on, we will come down to the floor now into tabletop position. I'll also make this a separate video, so if you don't have time right now, we'll split it and you can come back. All right, so from hands and knees, on your inhale, let your belly drop. Lift your chin in the front. And then exhale, press up to cat pose. Inhale, come down through cow, belly drops, chin lifts. One more time, exhale to cat. And then inhale to a neutral spine. We are going to press back to child's pose. You have the option if you really want to stretch out through your hips, which might feel good if you've been sitting a lot today, holding babies or feeding. Take your knees apart and your feet together. If that is too intense for any reason, you can bring your knees together and let your body rest on itself. Walk the fingertips forward. Let your head drop down to the ground. We'll do a little side bending here, so take a deep breath in, fingers reach up. As you exhale, walk your hands over to the right side, keeping your hips on your heels, and now take 3 deep breaths into the left side ribs. Inhale, walk back to the front. Exhale, hands over to the left side. Big stretch, big breath into the right side ribs. One more deep breath. And walk the hands back to the top of the mat. If you're able to, let your head come down to rest, forehead on the ground. If it doesn't quite reach, you can just let it hang between your arms. Keep your elbows on the floor. Bring the palms of your hands together in a prayer pose. And then bend at the elbows to bring the base of your hands to the base of your neck. Couple of deep breaths here, stretching on the underside of the arms, through the shoulders a bit. Last deep breath. When you finish this exhale, bring the palms of your hands back down to the ground and lift back up into a tabletop. This next pose can be pretty intense, so ease into it and only go as far as feels comfortable. So I was saying earlier that new moms usually spend a lot of time in this rounded forward position from holding baby and feeding them throughout most of the day. And so we're working to try to undo that a little bit. But that's why this pose can feel especially intense. So I want you to think about keeping your hips over your knees, and we're going to very slowly walk the hands forward and let your chest come down towards the floor. You can put your elbows down for support or keep them up and really send the chest down. I'm going to set my elbows down first and then try to bring your forehead to the floor. This is kind of a big back bend type stretch, especially if you've been rounded forward. It can feel like an intense back bend, even though it's pretty slight. Take 3 deep breaths. This is called puppy pose, which is pretty fun. When you finish this 3rd breath, Lift yourself back up, walk your hands back underneath you. You can be on your elbows or your hands, and press back up. Decide how you would like to take the final couple breaths. So you can roll to your back, or you could press back to child's pose. If you have time, I'd love to talk you through a little relaxation exercise. If you don't have time, I completely understand. Maybe pause it and come back to it later. Walk your feet towards the outside of the mat if you're laying on your back. Let your knees knock in together so you've got support for your low back. Whatever position you chose, try to wrap yourself up with your arms. So if you're on your back, you could do one hand on your chest, one hand on your heart. If you're in child's pose, just kind of curl up into yourself and maybe grab your feet with your hands. And all I want you to do is be as still as possible, except for your big deep breaths. Try to let the thoughts just bounce through your mind. Don't try too hard to have an empty mind. Just let the thoughts pass right across. Try not to hold on to any of them. Continue to focus on your breath. The strong inhale through the nose, and an audible exhale out of the mouth, like you're sighing away any of the worries that you've had today. I know there were a lot. You have already done a great thing by taking time out of your day to do this for yourself. I know it feels impossible to get time to yourself sometimes, but you did it today. I'd also love if you could think of one way that you could ask for help today, whether that is from your partner or a family member or a friend. I challenge you to find one way to ask for help with anything today. You deserve it. I know you have a support system. And you don't have to do it all yourself. Stay here, letting your body relax into the ground, into this position for as long as you're able to. Letting the thoughts bounce right through your head. And any tension gets moved out of your body with your exhale. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you at the next one. Take good care.